If you ask me, the most compelling narratives in Port Charles aren't the ones broadcasted loudly across the police scanners or shouted in the middle of the Metro court. They are the quiet, unspoken shifts in the atmosphere, the subtle glances exchanged in dimly lit rooms, and the secrets buried so deep that only a few dare to dig them up. We are about to walk down a very dark, winding corridor together, tracing the outline of a story that is currently unfolding right beneath our noses. It started with a seemingly insignificant observation, a fleeting interaction that I witnessed through the lens of Nina Reeves. She was standing near the edge of a room, nursing a drink, when her eyes caught a subtle exchange between Drew Kane and Ava Jerome. At first, it didn't seem important. In a town like this, people with complicated histories cross paths all the other time. But something about that moment stayed with me. It wasn't what they were saying. It was the sheer intensity of their hushed voices, the rigid posture, and the calculating gleam in Drew's eyes as he leaned in closer to Ava. Ava, usually so fiercely guarded and impeccably poised, looked entirely too eager, almost desperate, as she absorbed his words. It was an unnatural pairing, a collision of two entirely different worlds, and it made me stop and wonder what invisible gravity had suddenly pulled them into the same orbit. I started following the threads, trying to map out the trajectory of their sudden alignment without jumping to wild conclusions. I just looked at the pieces scattered on the board. We know that Drew Kane has undergone a chilling transformation recently. He is no longer the honorable man who put others first. He has become a ruthless opportunist, driven by a relentless hunger for power and control. His current obsession is the upcoming auction of Jen Sidwell's seized assets. Those assets represent a kingdom of wealth and influence, and Drew wants the crown. But there is a massive, immovable obstacle standing in his path: Sonny Corinthos. Sonny is Drew's primary rival in this high-stakes bidding war, and Sonny has the resources to crush Drew's ambitions. Then, you look at Ava Jerome. Her entire existence right now is consumed by one singular burning desire: to secure full, uncontested custody of her daughter, Avery. She has fought, manipulated, and bled for this, but she has always hit the same impenetrable wall. That wall is, once again, Sonny Corinthos. Sonny holds the power, the influence, and the sheer intimidation factor that has kept Ava marginalized in Avery's life. The more I think about it, the more their secret alliance makes a terrifying, undeniable kind of sense. Drew and Ava are two desperate predators who have realized that they share the exact same prey. They have formed a clandestine pact, a dangerous alliance deliberately engineered to take down the mob boss who stands between them and their respective holy grails. But this is where the narrative takes a darker turn. As we peel back the layers of this conspiracy, a second, much more sinister story begins to emerge from the depths. This isn't just a mutually beneficial business transaction. There is a shadow beneath the story, a hidden motivation that Ava, in her blinding desperation for her daughter, completely fails to see. But Nina sees it. Nina knows the dark, unpredictable undercurrents of the people in this town, and she knows that anyone who willingly jumps into the deep end with this new, sociopathic version of Drew Kane is destined to drown. It doesn't seem accidental that Drew chose Ava as his co-conspirator. Drew's a tactician now, and tacticians always build a backdoor into their plans. Nina realizes with a sickening clarity that Drew has absolutely no intention of going down with the ship if their plot against Sonny goes sideways. If Sonny catches even a whisper of their conspiracy, Drew is perfectly positioned to silently fabricate a mountain of evidence, shifting the entirety of the blame squarely onto Ava's shoulders. He will use her as a human shield, throwing her to the wolves to ensure his own survival. Ava is walking blindfolded into a slaughterhouse, believing she is walking toward her daughter. Nina, despite her incredibly complicated and often fractured history with Ava, cannot simply stand by and watch a woman she cares about be systematically destroyed. Nina knows she is stepping onto a battlefield unequipped, so she desperately seeks reinforcement. She turns to her daughter, Willow Kane, hoping to leverage whatever fragile influence Willow might still have over her husband. I keep wondering whether Willow truly understands the monster Drew is becoming, or if she is still clinging to the ghost of the man she thought she knew. Maybe there's another layer here, a psychological block that prevents Willow from seeing the absolute peril they are all in. But faced with Nina's frantic warnings about Ava's impending doom and the collateral damage that will surely follow, Willow reluctantly agrees to help. It's possible that Nina and Willow genuinely believe they could stage an intervention, that they could corner Drew and force him to abandon this catastrophic alliance with Ava. They approach him, perhaps in the quiet confines of the Quartermain estate, attempting to appeal to his sense of reason, or at the very least, his sense of self-preservation. They demand that he back away from Ava and drop the plot against Sonny. But they severely underestimate the leverage Drew holds over them. The confrontation does not go as Nina and Willow plan. Instead of backing down, Drew pushes back with a chilling, quiet ferocity. He looks at his wife and his mother-in-law, and he reminds them of exactly who holds the cards in their twisted dynamic. He brings up their own buried sins, the incident at the lake, the blackmail, the lies they have woven to protect themselves. Drew makes it abundantly clear that just because he has chosen to remain silent about their past crimes, it does not mean he is their puppet. His silence is a currency, not a leash. He refuses to take orders from the women he is currently protecting. The intervention shatters. Nina and Willow fail spectacularly to break the alliance, leaving Drew more emboldened and Ava more isolated in her ignorance than ever before. You know, what if we're missing something about just how deep Drew's contingency plans go? If he is willing to threaten his own wife to protect his plot, there is no limit to what he will do to Ava. The tension in the air becomes thick, almost suffocating. You can feel the distinct vibration of a bomb ticking down to zero. Nina is completely out of option. She has tried diplomacy, she has tried family intervention, and she has failed. Driven by a frantic need to prevent a bloodbath and save Ava from a fate worse than death, Nina makes a reckless, desperate decision. She crosses the ultimate line. She goes directly to Sonny Corinthos. I can't shake the feeling that this specific moment, Nina standing before Sonny, unraveling the entire secret alliance between Drew and Ava, is the exact catalyst that alters the trajectory of the entire city. Before this moment, Sonny was on a very different path. We watched him slowly stepping back, reflecting on his life, listening to Jason Morgan, and genuinely considering leaving the mob organization behind to prioritize his family and his peace. He was softening. But as Nina pours out the details of how Ava and Drew are actively conspiring to strip him of his assets and his daughter, you can almost see the warmth drain from Sonny's eyes, replaced by the cold, dead stare of the legendary mob boss. There are no loud explosions here. No dramatic shootouts in the street. Just the terrifying, quiet realization that the beast has been awakened. Sonny immediately halts all plans to leave the mafia. He delays his retirement indefinitely. The betrayal cuts too deep, especially coming from the mother of his child. Instead of stepping down, Sonny leans fully into his darkness. He mobilizes the vast, terrifying machinery of the Corinthos organization. But he doesn't plan to kill them. That would be too easy, too messy. Sonny wants to dismantle their lives piece by piece. He sets a counterplot in motion, utilizing his network of informants, corrupt officials, and legal loopholes to orchestrate a scenario that will land both Drew and Ava in federal prison. He wants them locked away, stripped of their wealth, their power, and their access to Avery. The sheer calculated weight of Sonny's impending wrath casts a long, dark shadow over the entire narrative. And yet, as the pieces begin to fall and the trap closes around Drew and Ava, the story refuses to give us a clean resolution. We are left standing in the aftermath, looking at the shifting dynamics between the survivors. Sonny, having narrowly avoided a devastating blindside, looks at Nina with a profound sense of gratitude. She risked everything, including Drew's wrath and Willow's fragile peace, to warn him. In the quiet moments after the storm, as Sonny and Nina share the same space, you can feel the echoes of their deeply passionate, deeply flawed past vibrating between them. Something feels unfinished. The way he looks at her, the way she lingers in his presence, it hints at a resurrection of feelings they both thought were buried in the ashes of Nixon Falls. Will Sonny's gratitude organically transition back into the romance they once shared? Or is this just the temporary, intoxicating adrenaline of two people who have just survived a war together? And what of Ava and Drew? Are they truly neutralized behind bars? Or are they already plotting their next move from the inside? We are left wandering in the dark, piecing together the whispers, waiting for the next chapter to reveal itself. The story is far from over. In fact, the most dangerous part of the journey might have just begun.
Goodbye. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the GH Spoilers Daily channel.